Hi everybody, Good Friday. We are on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange with Jim Cramer. Jim, phrase of the day suggested hedge fund trade.
Score, because this is what you would do at a hedge fund, all right? Let's have some fun here. All right, so you would look and say, who's got China exposure? Well, Yum China. Who doesn't? Yum Brands. So Yum Brands, 27 times earnings. Yum China, 26 times earnings. Short Yum China, go long Yum Brands. Could they put a tariff on Starbucks, which is the main growth engine? So we go short Starbucks, we go long Dunkin' Brands. I remember, I am literally telling you this is what people do. I mean, Yum Brands, Yum China. Caterpillar, okay, well they could be the one that is targeted if we target machinery. We have to target machinery in our tariffs because machinery is so big, it's $100 billion. So you short Caterpillar and you go long United Rentals, which doesn't even use Caterpillar and its infrastructure play. And this is the game that people are going to be playing. McDonald's, remember, they sold a controlling interest in their China chain in 2017. So does this make sense? It's so darn easy that it tends to not work. It tends to backfire. But these are the wheels that are churning in people's heads. So I'm just giving you those trades because it's what people would have done and are doing right now at hedge funds.
Apple and Applebee's, Dine Equity.
Well, yeah, I mean, there I don't want to recommend Dine. My friend Matt Orion would tell you Dine Equity's coming back. It's Dine Brands now. But yeah, go long Applebee's and go short Apple because you have to believe that the government is going to slap a tariff on Apple. Now, all of these fail if it turns out that it's just the art of negotiation, not the art of war. Sun Tzu being the art of war, not art of negotiation being Trump. So Robert Johnson, who's such a great guy, asked me a question on Squawk, which he said, is it the negotiations or is it the negotiator? I mean, I think I like TPP. I happen to like, by the way, Jamie Dimon's letter very much. He really didn't want to go it alone against China. I think you've watched me enough to know that I'm very anti the PRC's way to be able to handle trade. And I'm much more in the Navarro camp. I would like to think that I was in the Cramer camp and the Navarro's in my camp because I have felt over and over again that the Chinese take advantage of us endlessly and they almost wiped out our steel industry. My bias comes from the fact of the work I've done because of the companies that my father worked for that were wiped out by the Chinese. And only my father worked for the Chinese until his death. And great company. He worked for a great company because they really respected the elderly and they were terrific. But there's no doubt about it, the Chinese don't play fair. And I think that Larry Kudlow's caught up in this, by the way. I mean, Larry is a free trader, the most anti-tariff guy I know, and he's out there having to defend what the president wants to do. And it's very tough for him because I think the president basically said, listen, Larry, China, I'm handling China, and I'm going to be tough. Rest of the world, you're fine.
Any thoughts on the markets? Dow's down 130 points. The jobs numbers.
It's too early to have a rally. You know, these are long, long days, and we've had many days where there's multiple sessions where we are up. You know, we open down, then we climb back, and then we fail, and we go back, and you know, these are real short-term scalp traders markets. Stay the course. Have some cash. We have a lot of cash for action alerts. We're waiting for our prices. These trade wars are going to bring us our prices, and that's what you need to do.
In the jobs report, retail jobs declined slightly, maybe Toys R Us related.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said Toys R Us could be one of the reasons. Toys R Us, obviously, a huge employer in this country. And also weather. I mean, many of the retail companies have mentioned to me that the weather was bad enough that perhaps you should expect some impact in the numbers. Construction was same thing. It's weather impacted. Interesting, mining keeps going up. Oh, geez. And I do feel that when I look at the numbers, I say Jay Powell just got a gift. No need to do 4 rate hikes if you're data dependent.
And it's interesting, you had Ollie's CEO on last night, and he said Toys R Us could be a good thing for them.
Yeah, Ollie's is a lower cost place to shop than Amazon, and that's why Ollie's stock has been so successful. I felt like that when Ollie's got downgraded. I mean, Ollie's was a company that really only Matt Boss at JP Morgan followed, and now everybody follows it. Why? Because it's got so much room to grow. It's in very few states, and most of the retailers that we know have already saturated the country. Now, the same store sales, they predicted 1 to 2%. They've always been predicting 1 to 2%, and then they exceed that. I think Ollie's is a terrific story.
And then last night on Mad Money, you did a deep dive on the direct listing of Spotify.
Oh boy, Spotify is fantastic. I just think that Spotify's right up there with Netflix, which by the way is doing quite well. A couple positive notes today. Right up there with XM, Sirius, with buying the backup for your Apple pictures. I think that's really, really important. And I also, of course, pay for Amazon Prime, which clearly the president never did, or was a dissatisfied customer. Or is it perhaps that Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post? The notion of e-commerce, third-party taxes is something that Congress should take up. I think that all the different companies that do e-commerce should be paying the sales tax. Should Amazon be collecting it for them? I think absolutely. You need legislation. Should the post office be privatized? Definitely.
All right, we'll see if Trump tweets about Amazon today.
Yes.
Also, Jim, Insight shares getting hit on that drug phase.
I think a lot of people felt if the drug had worked out with Merck, Merck would have bought it.
Any other thoughts on the biotech space right now?
Very tough. Very tough.
Okay, Jim, who do you have coming up on Mad Money tonight?
I have a company called At Home, and David Faber said, this is home decor, said find out how much is from China, and I guess I got to do that. That makes a lot of sense.
All right, that's tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern on Mad Money. Jim, we're going to keep talking about stocks behind ActionAlertsPlus.com, and don't forget, Jim's monthly call is next Thursday. Hope everyone...
A lot of changes we made.
Yes, it's a big week for the trust. All right, see you there. Thanks, everybody.